Hi, it's Luann from the Village Rabbit. I hope you're having a great Monday. Today we are going to make some paper flowers like these. These are great for journal pages, book plates, lots of different things. And so I thought I would just go through my process quickly and show you how they're made. You are going to need some strips of paper. I've got some book page strips here. I've got some scrapbook paper strips here. I would suggest something that is, pretty thin. If you're going to use some scrapbook paper, thin like computer paper, printer paper is what I suggest. Then I've got some hand-dyed paper here that I've made. This is some coffee stain notebook paper. And then I've got some brown paper bag. That's what these two pieces are. So you're just going to need some kind of paper strip that you like. Then I've got some round punched. These are old greeting cards that, I have punched with my hole punches. You can totally just cut out a circle. I'm not good at a circle, so I've got kind of 1-inch ones, and then I think these are 5/8-inch ones. You're going to need some buttons or something for the middle of your flower. If you want to use, jewelry pieces, that's a great idea. Broken ceramic pieces that you have maybe filed and they're not sharp, you can use something like that. I'm just going to use buttons today, but there's just, endless number of things that you could use in the middle of your flower. And then once we get finished, this is what they are going to look like. Okay, so let's get started. What you're going to want to do, and I will start with a piece of book page here. You're going to want to, tear your strips of paper. The wider your strip of paper and the longer it is, the bigger your flower is going to be. This is about, let's see, 7 inches long. And at various points, about an inch or a little more wide. Now, we've got some other things here that are longer and narrower and whatever, but the process is all the same. What you're going to do is you're going to start accordion folding your piece of paper. You can start with really tiny accordion folds. You can do bigger accordion folds. I encourage you to do different kinds and practice and just see how it turns out. These do not, just like flowers in nature, they do not have to be perfect. You can do some wider folds and some skinnier folds all in the same strip of paper if you would like. But there is our accordion fold. Okay. Oh, and I should have told you you're going to need some kind of glue. I'm using a hot glue gun, but these were made with Fabri-Tac or tacky glue. So, any of that, any kind of glue that you like. Just know that if it is not a glue, not like a hot glue or something that sets up pretty quickly, you're going to need some sort of binder or clip to keep these all together until they dry. So there's that. What you're going to do once you get your accordion folded here is you're going to kind of flatten it out. Okay? Just like that. And then you're going to take, let's do the back first. You're going to take one of your little circles, your little rounds, and we're going to glue it to the back to kind of keep the whole thing together. And this also gives you a nice place to glue it or attach it to your journal. Okay? So there's that. No one's going to see the back, so that that piece of round paper, or it doesn't even have to be round, it can be square, it doesn't matter. Can be any color, anything that you'd like. Okay? And then we are going to take a button and glue it on the front. Now, I try to do this kind of neat, especially with hot glue, because anything that doesn't get right underneath the button is going to show. There you have it. Okay. There's your flower. We will do another one. Let's do one with a paper bag. Okay. And you can take your strips of paper and scrunch them up if you want to, if you want that kind of look. I also have been inspired to watercolor or ink my strips of paper, especially if they're kind of plain, like this brown paper bag. So you can do that if you would like. And the great thing about paper is you can just tear it. And there is our accordion of the brown paper bag piece. Again, this is about 6 or 7 inches long. Then, you know, in some places it's an inch wide, in some places it's a half an inch wide. All right. And then, so you're just going to kind of open up your accordion a little bit. Meet the two ends. Kind of flatten out your flower. You have it. To kind of help it hold its shape, we are going to put some glue here on the back. And I'm going to use one of these large, inch wide, inch across. Sorry, I've got glue strings everywhere. On the back, like I said, you're not going to see that. If you wanted to make leaves out of green paper, you could totally do that. And put that on the back before you put that little round or whatever shape your back's going to be. Before you put that on, you could totally do that. But there you have it. There's your little paper flower. Let's do one in this color here. I'm going to do a little bit bigger accordions. This piece is a little bit longer. This was computer paper that I dyed. So it is 11.5 inches long. I tore it long ways. Accordion fold. See? You can see. There. And this takes a little practice to get your flower to kind of lay flat and still look like a flower. But again, Mother Nature's flowers do not all look alike, and they are not all perfect. And if you don't like the way it looks, you take that particular side off and try again. And there we go. Okay. Please forgive my very old glue gun. And if you get so much glue on the back of your flower that you need more than one little round piece, well, that is perfectly fine. There we go. There's that. And then I should be wearing a little silicone finger protector. You know how that goes. I think we'll put this dark brown with this. And the thing about these is if you need them to match something that you're doing, you can use your matching scrapbook paper. Whatever it is you're doing with your journal that particular day. If you want a particular kind of flower, like a sunflower or, a white daisy with a yellow center, then please forgive all my glue strings. Then you could use yellow paper, do something a little bit bigger, and then put a big brown button, in the middle to make a sunflower. And like I said, you can cut out leaves or tear some leaves to look, some green paper to look like leaves and use that. The sky's the limit, and your imagination is the only thing that limits what you can do with this particular project. You can use scraps. You can, like I said, use something different besides buttons for the middle. These things on the back are definitely scraps because, like I said, nobody's going to see them. You're going to glue this to a journal page or journal cover. So, and they don't have to be perfect. You can use big buttons. You can use small buttons. You can make them, make these much bigger. Totally up to you. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial. And, I'll be seeing you again soon. Thanks for watching.